All right. So welcoming in the Santa Clara Broncos head coach Herb Sendek, Jake Ensminger, Brent Napper coming in. And guys, there's a lot of changes there down in Santa Clara, a lot of new faces. But the two of you being kind of some of the holdovers, being able to kind of like bring, like kind of teach the new guys about what this program has been the last few years under Coach Sendek. With you think about even back to like the Jalen Williams, Brandon Pajemski, like Adama Ball, like just the number of guys that have come through, just like kind of the standard that has been set and is growing. How have you kind of started to teach this to the new guys that are starting to come in this off season?
Yeah, pretty much just like trusting what we do here, trusting the process and trusting like the coaches and just, play a role. Like, we all have roles here, and if we all want to win, we always want to play hard and do what we need to do to, make it as far as possible. So just come in and trust what we do and just play hard. That's it.
How have your roles changed this offseason, now being a little bit more of like kind of like the leaders of this team, as certain guys have started like filtering out? Brenton, how has your role changed? Jake, how has your role changed? And how much is that on the leadership front? And also how much is that, has your game grown in pairing with that?
Yeah, for me, becoming more of a leader, like vocally. So like, sometimes getting on guys, holding them accountable a little bit more. Also teaching. It's a lot of teaching and a lot of patience and everything that comes with it. So it's like, when it looks like somebody's confused, like just going over there and talking to them, and just, just that's pretty much it for me. Just being there for each guy and helping them out little by little.
I'd say some of the BK kind of just what you mentioned, the standard, kind of upholding that, making sure that we're all following what the coaches want of us, offensively, defensively, on the court, off the court. And then, just playing your role. What that looks like, we're all going to find out soon enough, but just kind of doing whatever it takes to win. And I think everyone's doing a good job of that so far, of kind of just following what the coaches want us to do. So just following that path.
Jake, throughout your first few years, you've been very high intangible player. You do the dirty work. You do the things that don't show up on the stat sheet. Over the course of this offseason and kind of up to this point now, how have you kind of polished the rest of your game, kind of like your offensive attack and your jump shot? How has that kind of come together to kind of be probably what I would argue one of the most versatile players in this league if you are as consistent as you can be?
Kind of just putting the work in, shooting, ball handling in the spring, in the summer, playing pro-ams, playing pickup, kind of just doing all that. And I believe like it'll all come. Sometimes it takes longer than you want it to take, but I think it's all going to come. Just sticking to the work, believing in myself. My teammates believe in me. My coaches certainly believe in me. So kind of just sticking to it and not swaying from the path.
And who have you kind of leaned on throughout that process? Everyone has different people in their own circles, whether it be coaches, your teammates, alums who may be coming through. I don't know if Keyshawn Justice came through at all, any point during the offseason. Who have you leaned on in that process to kind of push through the hard days where maybe the jump shot isn't going down when you're down at the athletic center, the new athletic center?
I think obviously my parents, they're my biggest supporters. They help me a lot through the process. And then obviously just like every coach and every teammate, we're there for each other. If they wouldn't believe in us, like we wouldn't be at Santa Clara. Coach mentioned it on the live show earlier, like he wouldn't want anyone else except the guys that he has right now. So kind of just reassuring that they believe in you and that you got to believe in yourself too. So
for Coach Sendek, and obviously we heard the news a few hours ago that Garrick and Chris are not going to be with you for the first part of the season. How have these guys kind of stepped up here in the interim and kind of emboldening the other people down who may have not been slated to be in the early rotation but are now kind of earning those keep because of just the situation that you're in? How have they as leaders kind of said, it's time, the time is now and you're ready?
Yeah. All along, BK and Jake have enriched our culture. They've been superstar teammates, and they continue to grow as leaders. So I think as we had considerable turnover going into this season, they did a tremendous job starting in the summer of setting the tone of what our program stands for and who we are. And that has just continued through the first few weeks in practice. So we have a good core of returners. Not everybody has played yet because there's some red shirts in that group, but we have a good group who knows what we're all about. And then we've added a talented cast of newcomers, and I'm really excited about the men on our team.
I've heard a lot of good things about Alan Graves throughout this offseason. What can you tell us about the growth that he's had and kind of how he's kind of forced through the fire, you know, going barreling against Cam Tung in practice to now kind of having the opportunity now?
Yeah. Well, you know, Alan is a very talented player, impacts winning in a multitude of ways. He, too, is a great teammate, somebody who's easy to play with. And I know he's really looking forward to being able to play in games here in a couple of weeks.
One scheduling question, because different teams have taken different, you know, priorities, like USF playing at Chase, Gonzaga playing at Spokane Arena. You guys have games at Kaiser Permanente Arena down in Santa Cruz, an old home of years past and within an era not too far ago. Why did it make sense to schedule North Texas and Los Chicago at the KPA, and kind of what you're hoping to get those two games?
Because we're now living in a time where rankings at large bids are driven by metrics. And so schools have been incentivized to take games off of campus because you get more metric credit, or you get dinged less if you do not win if your game isn't at home. So obviously road games, right, count the most, followed by neutral, and finally at home. They all don't count, but the incentive is you have a neutral site game. Next year we'll play neutral site games in the Chicago and Dallas areas instead of on their campuses. But it's just our reaction to the system that incentivizes you to play off of campus to some degree, which I don't think is entirely good for college basketball. But that's the space we're in.
Well, one of the realities of college basketball and just the changing landscape is that now, like, the NCAA is starting to let G Leaguers back into the thing, and obviously you have been the beneficiary of one of that, Derry Darlin joining the roster. What is his presence been like early on, and how do you see him making an impact in year one coming to Santa Clara?
Well, he's very much in the transition phase. Okay, he's somebody who joined us late in the summer, early in the fall. We've only had a few weeks of practice. And so, like any of us who take a new job, go to a different school, move into a new neighborhood, there's a transition. And he is very much going through that. And, you know, for those who thought like you could skip over steps, it's difficult to do. With that being said, you know, he is clearly, as these guys will attest, a great teammate, has fit in with the guys like a brother from day one, and cares about all the right things, and clearly is a talented young player.
BK, in a small sample size, and you've kind of really displayed your IQ and kind of like ability to make the right plays at the right time. What have you kind of learned over the years from Los, Chef, even dating back to like J-Dub Pods and Adama, to kind of like prepare you for this moment and kind of have forge your own vision for this offense?
I guess, well, the year me playing with, Pods and J-Dub and everything, I guess just patience on offense and not always, forcing everything, and like they're letting the game come to you for sure. Yeah, it's okay to play fast, but also play like with, the mindset of, you got teammates, you're not by yourself, and just, just make the right reads, and like your time will come.
For you personally, I know you changed your hometown on your bio to West Virginia. Why was that important to you to kind of do that? Because everyone's got their own different stories of why they do those like small little details.
Yeah, so not a lot of people know that I'm originally from West Virginia, and I moved to California for high school. So I was really, born in California, raised mostly for like 12 years in West Virginia. So I feel like they didn't get enough credit because that's who like the coaches and the players out there that I really became very close with and grew up with, like pretty much molded me of like who I am. And like I feel like I learned a lot in West Virginia of like the player I was going to become for high school and all that stuff. So yeah, I feel like they got me in the position I am in now of, you know, going into high school, starting out as freshman on varsity and just playing throughout those years and then coming into college and everything. So yeah.
For both you and Jake, how do you kind of make sense of, you know, when J-Dub comes back with the Larry O'Brien trophy, kind of living proof that you go through this program, you can succeed at the highest level, and kind of, you know, making sense of that, and then obviously having his jersey retirement in December when he comes back?
I think it's just a testament to what, you know, Coach Sendek and the coaching staff and the donors have done at Santa Clara. I mean, we haven't been in the tournament since Steve Nash, and, you know, just seeing like J-Dub and Brandon, you know, in the NBA, and then like all the pros like Keyshawn, Cam, Adama, Johnny, like we're all producing like great players, and we're all coming through here and becoming better players and better people. So I just think it's really a testimony to the coaching staff and the Santa Clara community.
You mentioned going back to the dance. I know it's been a long time coming. Have you guys taken the strides to kind of get yourself in good position to believe that this team can be the one to do it?
I think if you look back at the last couple of years, since Coach Sendek and the coaching staff have been there, we've gotten better every single year. And I think if it happens fast, it's not happening right. So obviously we're building this program up from the foundation, and I think we're going to be successful. So.
Yeah, you good? All right. Well, I have 2 non-basketball related questions for you guys. For whoever has the best answers for these, who's got the Ox and what are they playing? Who's playing the music? Who's playing the music either at practice or in the gym, and what are they playing?
So it really depends who gets there first.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
You know, it's either Chris Tajo. If he gets in there first, you know, he's gonna play like TikTok music or like something like, I don't know.
Some questionable choices apparently.
Yeah. Then Buki, he controlled the Ox in the weight room automatically, or Christian. But yeah, like most of the time in the gym, it's like basically whoever gets there first and can put their, you know, the thing in first and the code. So like, yeah. So
is there a clear winner of like who's the best?
With the music?
Yeah. You're like, this guy's on Ox. I trust him with my life, basically.
It really depends. I don't agree with any of their music, but at the end of the day, it's like I probably go with Buki because I can understand what music he is playing. Because if Terry gets on it, he's playing like language, like I don't understand it. So it's like, yeah.
And then the last one, you guys may not have the answer to this yet, but who's the class clown of this year's Santa Clara Broncos?
Gehrig.
Oh yeah.
Go on.
No, he's just a goofy guy. Like he's funny. He brings great energy, like something I haven't experienced yet during my time here. So, like yeah, he's goofy, but you know he's also he's also a good leader. He's also a great teammate. So it's kind of funny because it kind of like balances itself out. So I don't know if Coach would agree with that.
Yeah, you agree?
I better take the fifth on that. You know, we have a number of candidates. I don't know if it's a slam dunk for Garrick. He's in the conversation. But we have a number of guys that have quite the personality.
Hey, don't sell yourself short. You threw on. I saw the outfit when J-Dub returned. I saw that. You know?
No. I would use a different adjective.
True. You know,
if I was going to bring myself into the conversation.
That's fair. Ladies and gentlemen, the Santa Clara Broncos picked to finish 4th this year in the West Coast Conference. Thank you so much, BK, Jake, Coach Sendek, for hopping on. Best of luck this season, best of health, and hopefully you guys get to avoid Benson when you go back.
Thank you.